All right, good evening, everyone. Jim Williams here covering Hurricane Iota tonight. Very serious situation for Nicaragua tonight. I can't emphasize how bad this is going to be in Puerto Cabezas, Principalca, Nicaragua. There's a little town called Wawa, believe it or not, that's going to be impacted tonight. They're going to get the eye of this thing. I'm going to show you some images tonight, but two hurricanes of similar magnitude within a 2-week period. In other words, we had Hurricane Iota hit here with 140-mile-per-hour winds just south of Puerto Cabezas. And tonight we're going to have this one hitting just south of Puerto Cabezas again with 160-mile-per-hour winds. All right, so here we are. This is the 8 o'clock position of Hurricane Iota. And what's interesting when you look at this is Puerto Cabezas, it is now projected to pass, let's see, when it comes inland, it's going to be 22 nautical miles to the south of Puerto Cabezas. Now, Puerto Cabezas has a population of 50,000 people. Down in Principalca, Nicaragua, down there to the south, there's 16,000 people living there. So it's kind of splitting the uprights just like it did with Hurricane Iota. Hurricane Iota hit there on November 3rd with 140-mile-per-hour winds in almost the same location. So Wawa got wiped off the map. It's a very small town, very sparsely populated. I think a couple of thousand people live there. It's the small town between Puerto Cabezas and Principalca. So as we go forward now, here we go. Here's 11 o'clock tonight. That's about when I'll be signing off. The eye will be completely on shore by midnight, and it will be down to 140-mile-per-hour winds. So for the next 3 to 4 hours, these areas are going to be experiencing winds of Category 5 strength, probably Category 4 sustained winds, gusts to Category 5, and that would be winds. And I'm going to show you the recon in just a minute, because that'll tell you what the wind gusts are going to be as this is coming in, because the wind out over the ocean maybe might be a little stronger than what you're going to see on land, but it's going to be close. So here it goes, and then we go as the early morning hours, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It's still a hurricane, 105-mile-per-hour winds going well into Nicaragua. Now we're talking rainfall and flooding and mudslides. Western Nicaragua, eastern Honduras. It's going to be horrific. The water is going to be coming down at rates that they probably have never seen before, or at least since Hurricane Mitch back in '98. This is going to be really, really bad. Kind of neat to see the animation as this builds. And as you can see, the dark red wind band here are the Category 5 winds that are going to move in tonight. And then when you, let's click the wind. We're talking 151-mile-an-hour winds gusting to 195 miles per hour. 150-mile-per-hour winds will knock down the weakest of structures. It will rip off roofs on well-built structures. It will blow in. It will break and or damage impact-resistant glass. It will knock down most trees. The foliage will be destroyed. You will see damage coming out of here where everything will be dead. Tomorrow or the next day and the day after that and weeks down the road, the foliage will be dead. Nothing will be alive. It will be dead for probably a month or two before you start seeing greenage coming back to these areas. I don't know what happened there. Excuse me. All right. So anyway, Principalca, Nicaragua, which is just south of where the eye is coming in, is going to have winds of 146 miles per hour, gusting to 177. And the trend is for Principalca, Nicaragua, to have higher winds than what they were expecting a few hours ago. So it looks like now the epicenter of this destruction might be shifting a little bit south towards Principalca, whereas if you look at the yellow area here, that's Puerto Cabezas. The trend is minus 30, meaning there's a lesser chance of those extreme winds coming into Puerto Cabezas than there was a little while ago. So basically what this means is extreme damage in Principalpa, Nicaragua, and extensive damage in Puerto Cabezas. And then Tegucigalpa, which is the capital of Honduras, which is toward the west part of Honduras, is going to have minor damage. There's the current position of Hurricane Iota. There's the population center. So we have Puerto Cabezas up here at the top, 66,169. Then we have the population of Wawa, which is where the eye is going to pass directly over. That's 650 people. And then down in Principalpa, Nicaragua, we have 16,105 people. So once again, and this happened with Eta, it split the uprights between the two population centers. And there's what's called the vortex messages, the white numbers. And let's zoom in on that. So this is the most recent fix. And we see that the pressure is now up to 921 millibars. Now, don't let that fool you. I was in Hurricane Michael up in the Tyndall Air Force Base area, and I measured 924 millibars, and it was really, really intense. So 921 millibars is really, really, really intense. It is going to knock buildings down. It is going to rip roofs off. It is going to break windows, as all the things I said to you before. It's going to be really, really bad for these people. The eye is 13 nautical miles wide, 97 knots, that's 111 miles per hour, and that was located northeast of the center. The pinkish colors, that's where they measured those 133 mile per hour winds on the southwest quad, right off the coast. And that's why the winds are lessening on the northeast quadrant here, because the winds, the intensity is not there like it was before. So basically, what they're getting now in Puerto Cabezas, in Principalpa, Nicaragua, in Wawa, are the worst that this hurricane has to offer at this time. Now, that eastern eye wall can make a comeback as it comes in. We'll have to see about that. But right now, the worst of it is over land. When you look at a lot of the hurricanes that have hit this year, they've been front-loaded. In other words, when they come in, the worst weather is in advance of the eye, not behind the eye. That's the story of this hurricane season when you think about it. Every single hurricane that's hit this year, the worst of it has been on the front side, not on the back side. Here we are, let's see. Surface wind 130, and that was southwest of the center. Let's zoom back in on this. It's not really giving me the cities I was hoping for, but. And then the winds switch on the southern eye wall to out of the west. And down in Principalpa, Nicaragua, we've got winds 125 miles per hour out of the northwest. High tide is at 10:30. So high tide is coming up here. That's like the worst case scenario. We'll get a high tide coming up here at 10:30 for this general area. As far as the track is concerned, the best performer has been the UK Met model. And here, this is the UK model, the EGRR. Let's go down here, EG. The ECMOs are all the European ensembles. And here is the EGRR. Notice the dark green. Dark green is good performing model, and red is bad. So the UK Met started out kind of bad here, and then it recovered nicely. Now this is on track, not on intensity. So the UK Met has done the best on track, followed by the European model, which is in second place. The third place performer is the GFS, Fourth place performer is the HMON model. Fifth best is the HWRF. Sixth place is the Canadian model, and seventh place is the NavGem. And the best on intensity has been the HMON model. The second best performer on intensity has been the HWRF. So the tropical models have done really good on intensity on Iota. It's the SSEC website link at the bottom of the tracking map. But notice the purples are now gone around the eye wall. It's just whites. So you got all the purples, the pinks are disappearing now as it's moving onshore. The eye is just about to make its way onshore. The most likely time for Principalca, Nicaragua to be hit is in mid to late October. So that tells you that they tend to get hit later in the hurricane season. So this is not unusual for this area to be hit at this time of the year. If they're not going to be hit at any time, it's going to be after the height of the hurricane season, which is around September 7th through the 13th is the height of the average hurricane season. That week of the September 7th through the 13th. And their height of the hurricane season is October 12th through the 18th. This is the least impacted area in the entire Atlantic Basin, and they're getting hit by two majors within 2 weeks. It's just crazy. But activity has been trending up since 1990. So how often does this area get affected? By named storms in general, every 16.44 years. Now compare that to a place like Miami. Miami gets affected by a named storm about once every 2 to 3 years on average, going back to 1871. They get a major hurricane on average about once every 74 years. Now, if you average out all of Nicaragua, it's about once every 35 to 40 years on average that they have to wait for a major to come back and hit them. So this is astounding. Two majors within a 2-week period. Simply unbelievable what's happening here tonight. Here's a typical looking street. These are all Puerto Cabezas, Nicaragua, folks. That's being hit by a Category 5 hurricane. Of course, we'll know in about an hour if we're still dealing with a Category 5. Now, see the flim-flammy building like that? Notice the tin roof? That's going to be completely torn apart. That building there is going to be no more tomorrow. All right, I think this is Wawa right here. Yeah, this is Wawa. Okay, so this is facing north. This area here along the coast is facing north. And let's take a look and see if we can see some images of, actually, let me flip this around. So here's some beach shots. This is the area that's really going to get pummeled tonight. There's a typical beach shot from Wawa where the eye is passing over tonight. Notice the house is elevated a little bit, but that's not going to be high enough. That water's going to pour right in there. Here's another house. That looks like it's a little bit better built. The hurricane is coming in from right to left. And notice there's like an inlet here, and that water's going to come rushing in and up through this stream and go to this town called Carrata. That's all going to go underwater there for sure. There's a church in Carrata. Again, flim-flammy roof, sheet metal. That's going to be all torn up. Never survive. All those windows are going to get busted in. And again, when the next advisory comes out from the Hurricane Center, we're going to be able to narrow this down as to what areas are going to be impacted here. Here's a town called Hallover. Wapasixa. Look at the inlet. That water's going to be rushing in there too. Interesting. And it's shielded. Notice the ocean, it's on the backside. It's not facing the ocean, so they're probably going to be in good shape. Let's see. Here's a picture. There's Principalca, Nicaragua. Again, they're going to get like the southern eye wall, or the eye might pass directly over them. Here's another shot from near Wawa. See, those houses are not going to stand a chance. Wow. I mean, look at that. That's got the makings of epic problems. Inland river flooding, dams. That dam doesn't even look that strong, if that's even what it is. Yeah, it looks like a dam. That thing's toast. That dam is going to give way. It'll never survive. That's about 90 miles inland, that dam. But this is what I'm talking about with the mudslides. This is the kind of terrain we're talking about here. It's all there's going to be mud flowing everywhere. Look at this. This is the kind of, I could see the rainwater just rolling down these hills and causing all kinds of problems inland. This is way, way, way inland. All right. And again, notice the eastern eye wall is eroding, which is good news. So let's click on this. Okay, there's no radar. Gust to 106 miles per hour out of the northeast. Gusting to 106, Puerto Cabezas. Wow. That's a tremendous amount of wind. And let's go to Principalca. Gusting to 92, winds out of the southwest, gusting to 92 miles per hour. Amazing. There it is. Okay. There's a full screen from the Bay Islands, Honduras, but that's way far away from where anything is happening with this hurricane right now. Lowest daily tropical cyclone 24-hour pressure change from 1851 through 2019. 60 millibar change. Dropped 60 millibars in 24 hours. It really did it? Eta did the same thing almost. Delta dropped a little over 40, and Laura dropped a little over 40. So, wow. So this was Eta on the 3rd. Notice it's just south of Puerto Cabezas. All right, here's the forecast for Iota, just south of Puerto Cabezas by 18 miles. Back to the last image, it was 16 miles south of Puerto Cabezas. This one, 18 miles south of Puerto Cabezas, but stronger. This was a video from after Eta. And notice the foliage, it's all dead. This is in Puerto Cabezas. This was 140 mile per hour winds. Again, I don't think these people had that well of structures they were living in, but they're sailors, as an example, that got knocked down. Notice the foliage is all dead, though. I mean, that's indicative of those kind of winds, and generally it kills everything that's green. And that's definitely, look at the palm trees are decapitated. Okay, public advisory, 10 p.m. Extremely dangerous Iota expected to make landfall very soon. Catastrophic winds and storm surge. They have the winds now at 155. So we're down at category 4. We have it at 30 miles south of Puerto Cabezas, Nicaragua. So that's a little further south than what they had anticipated. Remember, we were talking 22 miles to the south of Puerto Cabezas. So this is good news in the sense that that eye wall might just hit the southern portions of the city, might not get the entire city. I mean, we're talking 30 miles to the south. It's going to be close. Winds 155, moving west at 9, pressure 920 millibars. 15 to 20 foot surge, 30 inches of rain. That was north-northeast of the center. But remember, the strongest winds, cloud tops were on the west side as it made landfall. So these winds might have been a little stronger on land, probably 130, 140. I think they probably got anywhere between 100-mile-an-hour and 140-mile-per-hour winds in Puerto Cabezas. Now, Wawa probably got the 110 and up. I think, yeah, Principalca and Wawa and Puerto Cabezas all had winds 100 to 130. But not the Category 5 that was coming in there. It weakened right before landfall. All right, again, notice the eastern eye wall eroding, and the wind, now the highest winds have shifted to the south of the center. So areas like Principalca, Wawa, are getting hammered by these winds out of the northwest up to 130 miles an hour. And then on the north side, you got Puerto Cabezas up in here, and you've got probably the same thing, 120 p.m. That's almost current right there. The eye will be on shore at 11 p.m. with 150-mile-per-hour winds. 27 miles south of Puerto Cabezas. Now, they said 30 in the NHC update. So, wait a minute. Let me make sure this is 10 p.m. Okay. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. It's still a hurricane at 7 a.m. 10 a.m., 11 a.m. tomorrow, it finally gets down below hurricane strength by 11 a.m. It's still in Nicaragua. Location impact report, Central America, updated. Okay, so the most damage is going to occur in Principalca, Nicaragua, +6 trend on the damage estimate, -19 for Puerto Cabezas, and it gained like 60 miles an hour in strength in less than 24 hours. So in a 6-hour period, it went from 945 to 925. It dropped 20 millibars in 6 hours. That's incredible. 920. It peaked at 917 millibars. Just to let you know, Hurricane Michael was 923. There we go. There's all the Category 5 hurricanes. Well, they were in motion. I guess when you enlarge it, you can't get them in motion. But I think the best looking one is actually Maria. Well, Dorian looks pretty. Dorian, yeah. Iota looks pretty good too. Although it's different satellite view. Iota looks the most healthy, but Dorian was the most powerful. I mean, that thing had 185 sustained. Michael was 160. Let's see what Reed Timmer is saying. High-end Cat 4, Iota making landfall at Hullover, Nicaragua, 155. Yeah, see that core south of Puerto Cabezas. I mean, that's the difference between catastrophic and not. So it looks like Puerto Cabezas is going to escape the worst of it. I mean, in Puerto Cabezas, again, that core is going to go just south of there. Split the uprights. It looks like it's going to be Principalca and Wawa are really going to get the worst of this. Here's a rainfall potential. Bobby posted this earlier. Up to 30 inches of rain. That's from Ginger Z. She retweeted that from Ginger Z, 30 inches. Good graphic. That eye is moving on right now.